Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel RMK Resolutions. In this particular video, we are going to talk about the brief classification of the coordinates. In the previous video, we have seen the basic characteristics of the coordinates, and in this particular video, we are going to discuss about the classification of the coordinates. So there are many theories for the classification of the coordinates. Different taxonomists, they give the different scheme for the classification, and we are going to discuss about the recent classification scheme for the phylum Chordata. And remember one thing, we are going to divide this particular video into 3 to 4 segments. So it is quite large video, so we are going to divide that into 3 to 4 segments. So please do watch the video, like the video, and subscribe my channel RMK Resolutions. So let's go to the video. Hello friends, here we are going to focus on the brief classification of phylum Chordata and its characteristics. So earlier video we have discussed the general ideas for the phylum Chordata, and we have also discussed the general characteristics of the phylum Chordata in brief. So here we are going to discuss the classification of phylum Chordata. So this particular topic is for the SYBSc Zoology, Savitribai Phule, Pune University, Pune, and this is the first chapter in the SYBSc Zoology. So this particular video we are going to divide into either 2 or 3 parts. So let's start. This particular phylum Chordata, we know that this is the large heterogeneous group. This is the heterogeneous group, my dear friends, because so many different kinds of animals are come into the phylum Chordata. So phylum Chordata is the heterogeneous groups, and there is a these particular species, they differ widely from one another in many aspects. So there is a tremendous diversity of animals are present over here. So diversity in the form of different forms and different shapes of animals are there, and these particular chordates, they are distributed widely. So there are so many species, so different scheme of classification has been proposed by the different taxonomists. So do not confuse with the classification of the chordates, because many scientists, they propose the different taxonomic schemes. So we are going to focus on the most recent classification system that is followed for the phylum Chordata. So my dear friends, this is the overall idea for the classification of the phylum Chordata, how chordates are classified. So see, this particular phylum Chordata, it is broadly divided into the 2 groups. Group Acraniata, or sometime it is also called as the Protochordata or lower chordates, and second group is the Craniata. It is also called as the Euchordata, or it is called higher chordates. And then further, these 2 groups, they are again divided into the different phylums, subphylums. So group Acraniata, it is divided into the subphylum Hemichordata, subphylum Urochordata, and subphylum Cephalochordata. and this group Craniata, they are divided into the further subphylum Vertebrata. So Vertebrata again, they having two divisions, division Agnatha and division Ganthostomata. So this particular Ganthostomata, again they having two superclasses Pisces and superclasses Tetrapoda. This superclasses again they are further divided into the five classes. Pisces, they having a 5 class, and this particular superclass Tetrapoda, they having 4 classes: Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves and Mammals. These are the class of superclass Tetrapoda. And this particular, again, these reptiles, aves and mammals, they come into the Amniota, which is also called as the higher vertebrates, and there is a lower vertebrates which come into the superclass Pisces. So this is the general view for the phylum Chordata, and we are going to discuss this particular all classification in brief. So my dear friends, remember one important note over here. This subphylum Hemichordata, though it is included into the subphylums of the Chordata, but now this Hemichordata subphylum, it is now considered to be an separate invertebrate groups. So let's come to the phylum Chordata. Phylum Chordata, as I told you, they widely diversified animals, and they differ in the size, then they differ in their habit and habitat. So as I told you, this particular phylum Chordata, they having a tremendous diversity, and all these species they differing in the size, in habitats and habits of the animal. So we know that in the previous video we have seen that this Chordata, they are bilaterally symmetrical animal, they are metamerically segmented animal, then they are triploblastic in nature, and these particular animals, they are coelomate and they are the deuterostomes. So we have seen all these particular general characteristics in a previous video. So one of the most important is they having Chordata, they having a notochord is present. It is a skeletal rod or notochord. It is a rod-like structure present. Then they having a hollow dorsal nerve cord is there, and paired gill slits are there. So these are the some important characteristics of the phylum Chordata, and all these characteristics, they may persist or they change or disappear in the adult. So depending on the species, either that notochord or pair gill slits or hollow dorsal nerve cord, they are present at the some stage, and they may disappear in adults, or they may persist throughout the lifetime. So this particular chordates, we know that they are originated from the Cambrian period, and near about 50,000 species of Chordata are present. So let's start to the classification. So phylum Chordata, as I told you, they are divided into the two groups. Group Craniata, it is also called as the Protochordata, and group Craniata, it is also called as the Euchordata. So first we are going to discuss about the group A, that is the group Acraniata. These are also called as the Prochordata. So this particular word is derived from the Greek word, that Greek A means absent and carinion means head. So that's why called as the absent head, or that Greek protos means first and chord means cord. So this particular Acraniata, they don't having a cranium. It is a bony structure present in the head, or we can say the absence of the head. So that's why they are called as the Acraniata. So all these particular members which are present in the Acraniata, they are marine and they are small, they are primitive in nature, and they also called as the lower chordates. So they don't having a cranium, they don't having a jaws, vertebral column. All these structures are absent, my dear friends. No cranium, no jaws, no vertebral column, and paired appendages are absent in the Acraniata animals. So in this particular group, there is near about 2000 different species are found. So this particular Acraniata, again, they are divided into the 3 subphylas: Hemichordata, Urochordata, and Cephalochordata. So now we are going to discuss about the first subphylum is the Hemichordata. So how this particular word is derived, again, that is derived from the Greek word hemi means half and chord means cord. So this particular Hemichordata animals, their body is divisible into the 3 regions: proboscis, collar, and trunk. Then about the notochord, it is doubtful. So that's why, as I told you, this Hemichordata, they are having a different division and they are considered as into the invertebrates now. So this notochord is doubtful, and short confined proboscis is present, and they are non-homologous with that of the chordates. So again, this particular Hemichordata, they having different classes. So first class of the Hemichordata is the Enteropneusta. So again, that is derived from the Greek word enteron means gut, and neustos means breathe. So particular animals, their body is large and they are looking like a worms. They are elongated animals and they are looking like a worms. So gill slits are numerous in this particular animal, and gill slits are paired gill slits. So animal, obviously it is the elongated animal, so alimentary canal is straight, and this particular animal, they are also called as the tongue worm. So again, this Enteropneust, they included 3 families, 15 genera, and 70 species. Example of the Enteropneusta is the Balanoglossus, then Saccoglossus. These are the important examples of the Hemichordata. See, my dear friends, this is the example, this is a figure of Balanoglossus. Body is divisible into the collar, then here there is a anus, and here this is the proboscis. So body is divisible into proboscis, collar, and anus. Here there is a branchiogenital regions, here there is a genital regions, and hepatic regions are present. this is again the picture of Balanoglossus. So second class of the hemichordata is Pterobranchia. Pterobranchia, that word again is derived from the Greek word pteron, means feather, and branchion means gills. So body of this particular animal, they are small and they are compact. Then gill slits are one pair, or sometimes gill slits are absent. Then alimentary canal is U shape, my dear friends. See, alimentary canal is U shape, and they having a two order in this particular class. There are two orders are there, 3 genera are there, and 20 species are there. Example, we can see Cephalodiscus. Cephalodiscus is the example of the Pterobranchia. This is the picture, shows the Cephalodiscus. This is the picture of the Cephalodiscus. See again, this is the Cephalodiscus. This is genus of hemichordata in monotypic family Cephalodidae. This is a information from the Wikipedia. So third class is the Plactospaphoridia. Third class is the Plactosparodia. So this particular class, the animal is transparent. See, my dear friends, the important characteristics: they are transparent, then they are rounded, and they having a specialized Tornaria larva. So they possessing the extensively branched ciliary bands are present on the body surface. Then alimentary canal is L shape, and Plactosparia plagia, they represent of this particular class. Plactosparia plagia is the example of this particular class, and they are supposed to be a specialized Tornaria larva of some unknown hemichordates. Then fourth class of the hemichordata is the Graptolita. So these Graptolita, they are the fossil graptolites, and they were abundant in Ordovician and Silurian period. So these animals are abundant in this particular period, and these are often considered to be an extinct colonial class. Now they are extinct, they are not present on the earth, not a single species are found on the earth. So these are the extinct colonial class of the hemichordata. So they are their tubular chitinous skeletons are found nowadays, and colonial habitat shows the affinity with the Rhabdopleuta. Okay, so we have seen about the hemichordata. So we are going to wind up this particular video over here, and the next subphylum we have seen in the next video. So please watch the video, like the video, share the video, and subscribe my channel RMK Resolutions, and hit the bell icon so you will get the regular updates. Thank you.